Hey guys, yeah, another finger here on YouTube. So today I would like to try to make one of those videos where you compare things at $10, $100, and $1,000. So I would like to make a Taiwanese food version of this, as you can probably already see from the title. But instead of comparing them, it's more like me sharing with you what type of Taiwanese food you will be able to buy at this price. So it's kind of inspired by this comments. The idea is not exactly the same, but it's definitely inspired by them. So I would like to credit them and thank you so much for suggesting. So I did try my best to limit my options to only Taiwanese food, as in food originated in Taiwan, such as boba tea and beef noodles, because definitely in Taiwan our cuisines are heavily based on the Chinese diet and cooking style, and there are definitely a lot of overlaps with Chinese food, but today I specifically want to show you those foods that, as I said, are originated in Taiwan and are unique Taiwanese food. But inevitably there might be a few things here and there that I share today that have their origins from another countries, maybe Chinese food or even Japanese food. But in those cases, that would definitely give you some more details into their origins and what differences Taiwanese people have made to later develop them into a type of Taiwanese food. Okay, without further ado, I think I'm gonna start with 10 new Taiwan dollar. So it's actually super difficult if you want to buy like a full-on meal with just $10 in Taipei. It's probably not even enough for like a small portion of side dish. It might be easier in other cities where price is a bit lower. So specifically, I'm thinking you might be able to buy with $10 like a bowl of braised pork, rice, or turkey rice, which are both super iconic Taiwanese food. But these meals at such cheap prices, unfortunately, almost impossible to find in the Taipei city. But even in Taipei, it's definitely still possible to find some food stands that sell some local street foods at just 10 new Taiwan dollar if you know where to find them. So this is the one that I chose for today. If you're familiar with Asian food, you might recognize this snack as a Japanese snack called imagawayaki, which is true. This snack does have its Japanese origin, but the reason why I'm choosing this today is for its filling. So the filling is actually what makes it Taiwanese. So the traditional Japanese imagawayaki has red bean paste as its filling, same as a lot of other traditional Japanese desserts. But this filling that we use in Taiwan is shredded pickled radish, a traditional preserved food originated from around the Hokkien area. Imagawayaki was likely introduced to Taiwan during the Japanese colonization, and then in Taiwan we combined it with these ingredients that was very common in Taiwan already and created the special Taiwanese flavored imagawayaki. So nowadays, the food stands in Taiwan usually sell all kinds of flavors, from red bean paste to custard to this shredded pickled radish flavor. As you can see, it's exactly $10 each, but I bought two to take this picture because I want to show you the filling. It's no doubt my personal favorite, but it would seem like a lot of Taiwanese people actually dislike this flavor because it's kind of savory, which I find pretty interesting. In recent years, it's also very popular in Taiwan to add boba, those tiny bowls you will find in the famous boba tea drink inside our imagawayaki. So as I said, it really is the feeling that makes it Taiwanese. Now, 100 new Taiwan dollar is probably what an average meal in Taipei would cost if you're having Taiwanese food. So it's rather easy to find like a meal that is exactly at 100 Taiwanese dollar. For example, you can get one of those Taiwanese bento box. Those are usually around $100. Or you could also buy the famous Taiwanese beef noodles. So beef noodles are usually a bit more expensive than $100, but most of the time it's still within $150 range. But personally, I think a more enjoyable meal would be to have not only something to eat, but also to drink at the same time. So I kind of, again, went with street food on this one. And I decided to go to the night market because it's certainly the best place to find the most local, most traditional, and unique Taiwanese food. And with $100, you can easily find a variety of combinations with a type of street food and a drink from the night market. I decided to go with my all-time favorite, traditional Taiwanese sausage on top of glutinous rice sausage. It usually comes with other side ingredients such as pickled radish, sometimes garlic. The one that I bought also had cucumber in it. So this is absolutely my favorite Taiwanese street food of all time. Taiwanese sausage has a very unique taste, different from sausages from the rest of the world. It has a much sweeter taste, but it's still savory and it goes really well with garlic. If you ever have a chance to visit Taiwan, you definitely need to give it a try. As for the drink, I went with this one called 爱日 jelly. It's made of a type of seed that only grows on the Taiwan island, so it's 100% originated from here. The jelly on its own does not have that strong of a taste, so it's common to add it in lemon juice with ice. It's very popular during the summer, so you should definitely try it out as well if you ever have a chance. So as I said, at 100 new Taiwan dollar, there are just so many varieties of Taiwanese street food you can choose from, especially in the night markets. So if you're interested in knowing more, I do want to let you know that I made a post on Patreon where I introduced some of the most iconic Taiwanese street food that you can easily find in night markets that I would personally really recommend you to try them out the next time you visit Taiwan. So if you'd like to support me there, you would not only be able to see posts like this about Taiwan, but you'd also get one additional video every month that are only exclusive for the members there. So if you'd like to check it out, I will leave a link in the description. It will be greatly appreciated. So moving on to finally 1,000 new Taiwan dollar. So I would honestly say that this one is the most difficult to find out of all three, because even in Taipei, it is quite difficult to get a meal that is as expensive as $1,000 if you're talking about Taiwanese food. Because it's definitely possible to find one of those really pricey restaurants that cost like over $1,000 per person per meal. But those are usually like French restaurants or Japanese restaurants. And since we are in Taiwan, Taiwanese food here are quite cheap. So I decided that there needs to be a twist, so we're going to have what we would call in Taiwan 创意料理. The literal meaning of 创意料理 is creative cuisine. It's a bit like fusion cuisine where they use ingredients and elements from traditional Taiwanese food and combine them with Western style cooking. So I decided to go to this restaurant that I found a few years ago that does exactly this type of cuisine. And it's right in the middle of this old street called the Huajie that is also very popular tourist site in Taipei. So I might as well show you around while I'm here. The restaurant is right across this temple. Its interior design is also very old style. Specifically, this corner reminded me so much of my grandparents' house. And a small fun fact, this Taiwanese folk song that is playing in the background right now, I performed with this song in a Taiwanese singing competition when I was in elementary school. So hearing this song definitely brought back the memories. The main dishes are 390 each and the drinks are on average 170. So for the main course, I ordered this risotto made of Taiwanese 乌鱼子 with fermented bean curd. So Taiwanese 乌鱼子 is very similar to botarga. It is dried fish roll of the gray mullet fish. The west coast of Taiwan is one of the main areas producing this type of dried fish roll. It's also one of the popular souvenirs that tourists like to buy when they travel to Taiwan. As for fermented bean curd, it's a type of traditional preserved tofu originated from China, but in each places the recipe will be a bit different, adjusted to the local taste. In Taiwan, there are mainly two ways of making this food. One was brought here when the Republic of China came, and the other was by the early Chinese who came here and settled way in the past. Today, each company producing this food will also more or less adjust and create their own unique recipe, so there really is quite a wide variety. Interestingly, the 乌鱼子 and the fermented bean curd go really well together with the cream that was used to make the risotto. With the scallops on top, it was definitely really enjoyable. For the drink to go with the main course, I ordered this roselle flower with strawberry soda. Roselle flowers, although not originated in Taiwan, still very popular and common here. Hibiscus tea is usually served cold and very popular during summer. For dessert, I ordered this lemon tart that used rice wine in it. Rice wine is a traditional Taiwanese wine of the indigenous people. As the name suggests, it is made of rice. So if you ever visit, it'd also be cool to try out some rice wine here. To go with the dessert, I ordered a cup of almond tea latte, which essentially combined our traditional almond tea with coffee latte. When it comes to almond tea, it definitely has its Chinese origin as well. Even to this day, it can be seen in Hong Kong's dim sum restaurants, so you might have heard of it. The Taiwanese almond tea actually tastes very similar to the Hong Kong style, but one special thing about the Taiwanese style is that we eat it with youtiao, a type of Chinese fried bread that is commonly seen in traditional breakfast. So again, early Taiwanese people combined these two traditional Chinese food elements and created this unique Taiwanese style dessert. Therefore, this almond tea latte also has some small pieces of youtiao on top to represent this unique and traditional taste of the Taiwanese style almond tea, which makes it perfect in my opinion. So the total comes to 990, close enough I would say, and I genuinely had such a wonderful time. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. So please leave a like if you did, and please subscribe for more videos about Taiwan like this one. And I will see you in the next video.